phone rang at 2:17 a.m. Hospitals don't call at that hour unless something has already gone wrong. I remember the silence in the room more than the voice on the other end. The way the air felt heavy, like it knew before I did. The nurse kept her tone professional, almost gentle, as if softness could undo damage. "There's been an incident involving your husband," she said. "We need you to come in." I didn't ask if he was alive. I didn't ask what happened. Because 4 hours earlier, I had warned him. "Don't go to that house. Don't touch what doesn't belong to you. Don't make this uglier than it already is." He laughed when I said it. A dry, arrogant sound, the kind men make when they think control still belongs to them. By the time I parked outside the hospital, I was already rehearsing the next phase. Forms, faces, insurance questions, a quiet, clean ending to a messy marriage. I practiced my grief in the elevator mirror. Red eyes, shallow breaths. A woman who had lost something she once loved. The doors opened. A police officer waited beside a doctor. Their eyes flicked to each other before settling on me. That's when I knew this wasn't going to follow the script. They didn't take me to my husband's room. They took me down a longer corridor, quieter, restricted. "He's stable," the doctor said. "Not my husband, my lover." I felt something cold uncurl inside my chest. I hadn't seen him in weeks. That had been deliberate. Distance keeps secrets clean. Distance keeps plans intact. My husband suspected something, but suspicion without proof makes men reckless, not smart. Apparently reckless was enough. When I stepped into the room, I smelled antiseptic and iron. Machines hummed softly, like witnesses pretending not to watch. My lover lay still, wrapped in white and wires. His face was bruised beyond recognition. His hands trembled even in sleep. And then I saw what the doctor didn't explain. What my husband had done to him. Not rage, not a fight. A message. Something invasive. Something meant to humiliate more than kill. A punishment designed by a man who believed betrayal could be corrected through cruelty. My knees didn't buckle. My face didn't change. Because in that moment, something extraordinary happened. I stopped feeling afraid. I realized my husband hadn't just exposed himself to the police. He had exposed himself to me. And now I knew exactly how this would end. I sat beside his bed longer than necessary. Not because I cared. Because hospitals make people honest when they think they're alone. His breathing was shallow. Sedated. But not gone. His fingers twitched every few minutes, like his body was trying to escape something his mind refused to face. I watched the rise and fall of his chest and thought about how carefully I had chosen him. Gentle, quiet, a man who listened. Everything my husband pretended to be, the police officer returned with a clipboard. Routine questions. Where had my husband been earlier that night? Had there been arguments? Threats? I answered calmly. Precisely. I gave them timestamps without hesitation. Locations. Context. I didn't lie. I simply didn't volunteer emotion. They told me my husband was in custody. Assault with intent. The words sounded clinical, detached, like they hadn't yet figured out how personal it really was. They asked if I wanted to see him. I said yes. His room felt different. Louder, somehow. He was sitting upright, wrists restrained, face swollen in a way that didn't bother me. His eyes searched mine the moment I stepped in, desperate to find alignment. Forgiveness. Loyalty. I gave him nothing. "They told me," he said quickly. "They told me what he did to you." I tilted my head. "Did they?" "He admitted it," my husband continued. "I lost control. But you have to understand, he deserved." "No," I said softly. The word landed heavier than a scream. I reached into my bag and placed the folder on his lap. Insurance documents, medical reports, time-stamped messages he didn't know I had. Phone records that mapped every lie he'd ever told me with mathematical precision. "I warned you not to go," I said. "Not because I loved you, Because I knew you'd expose yourself. His breathing sped up. I was already leaving, I continued. Already documented. Already protected. If you'd done nothing, you might have walked away intact. His voice cracked. So why him? I leaned closer. Because you needed someone to punish, I whispered, and I needed you to choose violence. The truth settled slowly. I watched it reach his eyes. No insurance payout. No loyal wife. No story where he was the victim. Just a man who destroyed himself thinking he was restoring order. I stood, smoothed my coat, and walked toward the door. Wait, he said. What about us? I stopped, but I didn't turn around. There was never an us, I said. There was only your illusion of control. I left the hospital before sunrise. By the time the city woke up, I had already signed the papers, blocked the numbers, and erased the last traces of the woman who once begged to be believed. Some people think revenge is loud. They're wrong. The most devastating kind happens quietly, when you let someone destroy themselves and you don't look back.